Deep Vices. Episode Resonance. The Symphony of Expectation and Consciousness. Welcome to Deep Vices, the place where vision meets depth, where we don't just explore what we see. We ask how we see, why we see, and what our perception reveals about the mind behind it. I'm your host, and today we begin a remarkable journey. Our guide? A book unlike any other in neuroscience. It's called Conscious Mind, Resonant Brain, How Each Brain Makes a Mind. Written by Stephen Grossberg, a pioneer in theoretical neuroscience. This book isn't just an overview of the brain. It's the culmination of over 5 decades of research. A masterwork that brings together psychology, biology, philosophy, and even artificial intelligence. And at its core lies one haunting question. How does a brain make a mind? Let me ask you this. Why do we usually see what we expect to see? And when we're wrong, when reality surprises us? What happens in the brain in that moment of confusion? Let's find out. In Chapter 1, Grossberg opens with wonder. He invites us to imagine waking up and expecting to see your bedroom. But what if you opened your eyes and found yourself in the jungle or on a snowy mountaintop? The shock we'd feel is a clue. It shows that the brain is always predicting, always anticipating. We are not passive observers. We are, as Grossberg puts it, intentional beings. Our brains don't wait for input. They forecast it, project it, try to meet it halfway. And that leads us to his bold central idea. All conscious states are resonant states. In other words, we become conscious of something only when what we sense from the world matches what we already expect. This match triggers a feedback loop, a kind of resonance between incoming signals and stored memories. That moment of match? That's consciousness. But what happens when the match fails? That's when the real magic begins. The brain sends out an alarm, what Grossberg calls nonspecific arousal. It resets attention. It begins a search. And it tries to update what we think we know. This is how we learn, not by always being right, but by being wrong at exactly the right time. Grossberg illustrates this with brilliant visual illusions. Take the famous Dalmatian in the snow. At first glance, it's just a scatter of black blotches. But stare at it long enough, and suddenly, a dog emerges. Why? Because your brain begins grouping, filling in, guessing, until it finds a shape that resonates. It's a visual metaphor for consciousness itself. We see what we've learned to see. And this learning is governed by what Grossberg calls the stability-plasticity dilemma. Here's the issue. We learn fast. We meet someone once and remember their face. But we don't forget what we learned yesterday or last year. So how does the brain stay plastic enough to learn quickly and stable enough not to forget everything it already knows? That balance between new learning and old memory is at the heart of intelligent behavior. To solve this, Grossberg developed adaptive resonance theory, or ART. It explains how learning, recognition, and attention all stem from the brain's ability to balance expectation with experience. Matched patterns create resonance. Mismatches? They launch a search. And only when a new match is found do we learn something new. This isn't just a theory of the brain. It's a blueprint for building truly intelligent systems, even in AI. Grossberg also introduces the idea of complementary computing. Different brain regions, like motion detection, color, or form, each specialize in something, but none are complete on their own. It's only when they cooperate that we get the full picture. And this principle of complementarity, he says, doesn't just apply to vision. It applies to society, to economies, even to democracy. Yes, neural dynamics can model everything from markets to political structures. Because at every level, it's about balance between forces, stability and change, expectation and surprise, self and other. So, back to our question. Why do we see what we expect to see? And what happens when we don't? Because consciousness is not just what we feel. It's what happens when the brain's model of reality is tested and either confirmed or corrected. It's resonance. And when resonance breaks, learning begins. That's the essence of Chapter 1. In the next episodes, we'll go deeper into vision, into memory, into emotion, and even love. We'll explore how brains learn, fail, recover, and how this ancient biological machine makes meaning out of light, sound, and time. So subscribe, stay curious, and join us again on Deep Vices, where vision meets depth.